Hi, Dumpster Divas. Welcome back to the Dumpster Dive YouTube channel for part 2 of our ANTM cycle ranking. Today we're going to be ranking cycles 11 through 24 on top of what we already did with cycles 1 through 10. All of this is in preparation for the what seems to be explosive America's Next Top Model documentary that is dropping on Monday, February 16th. Monday needs to be here now. But between now and then, I want to hold you guys over with some ANTM content. Now, before we get into part 2 of this ranking, we got to talk about part 1.
How many people were scared? Me too. I was really, really scared.
I chat housewives pretty much primarily on this channel and as well on the podcast. And so I'm very versed. I'm very ready to kind of like combat with a Housewives fan. And I'm also just talking about it all the time. So I have it just in my brain. You know, I've never encountered an ANTM fan before. And y'all know your shit. You know, I do claim that I'm a super fan because this show raised me. And I thought I had a pretty didactic, encyclopedic knowledge of these cycles beat by beat, and I misspoke. I misspoke quite a bit, and I need to address that publicly here so you guys can kind of forge ahead with me, and we can kind of create a larger unit as one Dumpster Dive family. A couple things that I said wrong, and they're not great. I'm gonna be honest, they're not great. And these came through on all of the notes, all of the comments. And I tried to reply to most of y'all's comments being like, hee hee ha ha, I forgot. But we got to just address it. The first big one that came out was y'all ride hard for cycle 3. Now, I said this in the video. Cycle 3, I didn't say it wasn't good. It's just not formative for me because like I just didn't watch it on repeat as much as I watched the other cycles. I still gave it an A. But y'all want me to give it an S. I'm not going to upgrade it. This is my opinion. Y'all make your own tier ranking. But in the cycle 3 situation, I did not give enough time to Takara. And I want to apologize about that. And so I want to say to you, Takara, I'm sorry. I did mention her later on in the episode being like, I can't believe we didn't talk about Takara because she is the legendary first plus size diva that we had in the mix on ANTM. And she went on to be an absolute bona fide supermodel. So Takara, I am so sorry about that. Another person that I did look over and did not acknowledge, and this one was really a big miss for me, but once again, I'm going to blame my upbringing. I'm doing such like white woman, like I just didn't grow up with that. Cycle 2, once again, I didn't watch it. I've only seen cycle 2 probably like twice. Because once again, the cycles 4 through like 15, I've seen like 10 times each. So cycle 2, I didn't talk about Camille. And that is definitely a big mistake on my end. A big mistake because Camille was like essentially the first like supermodel from the show. Like everyone really bona fide her as like the walk, the supermodel walk, the Tyra reincarnate, all of that. And you know, she comes back. When I was prepping for this, I was like, we do get time to spend with her on cycle. I believe it's 15. No, 17. Yeah, 17 is All Stars. So we'll get to spend some time talking about Camille there. But I do feel very bad that I didn't talk about Camille. And I know that made a lot of you mad. And I know that's probably why you gave me one of these. Okay, some more things that I got wrong. Y'all ride really hard for cycle number 9. Now, I stand by the fact that I think it's still kind of a meh cycle. Y'all ride really hard for it though, and I have to respect that that is your opinion. As the same way that you just have to respect it, I don't ride that hard for it. However, I made an incredibly problematic mistake, and that was swapping our 2 black contestants' names. So Bianca makes it to the trip to China into the top 5, and Ebony just misses that trip. And I was referencing Bianca as Ebony, and that is highly inappropriate. And I definitely apologize for that. And then lastly, This one is the darkest. This one is the darkest. I laugh because what else are you supposed to do?
My man. I'm sorry.
In cycle number 8, we have JL and we have Renee. Now, I said Renee had passed. Renee has not passed. You know, I also often sometimes say like RIP to people that are just deeply still alive. Renee has had some battles. And so I think when I said RIP, I was also kind of like, she is no longer with us on this plane because I believe she's in prison. Renee was sentenced to 12 years in prison in December 2014 for a multiple felony charge, including burglary, vehicle theft, and illegal weapon possession. After serving 5 years in California, she was released on parole in 2018. Those subsequent legal issues have occurred. I'm not really sure what she is doing now. Something here says she may have been thrown back into custody in 2019. Regardless, Renee has darkness. Renee is not passed. And for that, I'm sorry. JL has passed, which is incredibly heartbreaking. And I did give a big shout out to her, just about how much I love her, but she has passed. None of it's funny. It's just, you know, I have to make up for my misgivings here. So I think that's all the controversy that has happened in my YouTube ranking. You know, they say all press is good press. I'm not sure about that just yet, but I hope that I can kind of move past those slip ups and regain your trust.
You might get mad at me for one day and maybe not want to watch the show, but then you turn me back on 3 days later and you're like, that damn Wendy. I don't even know why I watch this bitch, but I like her.
It's time for us to begin our rankings of cycles 11 through 24. And a reminder, I have notes pulled up. I'm probably going to mess up again. I don't think it's going to be as bad as those things that I just said. I think it'll be a little bit better than that, but I'm definitely going to mess up again. So please give me grace. In addition to that, please call me out. And one more thing, in terms of the ranking, it is, in the words of Tamara Judge, my opinion.
That's my opinion!
Okay, let's get after it. So we're getting into cycle 11 through 24, starting with cycle 11. So something we didn't bring up in cycle 10 because I wanted to bring it up in cycle 11 is the first big photo shoot in cycle 10 is a it does kind of deal with the fact that Tyra, you know, on her talk show did some wild things. One of those being dress, kind of embodying someone who is without a home, and she decided she wanted to kind of live that experience. So she got into some kind of displaced garb and lived on the streets for a day. Now, due to that experience, she wanted to bring that into the America's Next Top Model universe and do a photo shoot with teens who had been displaced from their homes due to a multitude of reasons, but mainly due to their queer identity. So she has this photo shoot with this group of teens that have worked through this program in New York City. Now, this one of the contestants, I can't remember her name. She was like the first out on season 10. She delivers just like a snooze of a photo. And in the background of the photo, one of the teens is this trans woman named Isis. And Isis is absolutely killing the photo shoot. She's a supermodel. And Tyra's like, okay, who is that girl down there? Like, she has it. And so thus they cast Isis King into cycle 11 as one of the models. And I found this incredibly impactful growing up. I was like, this is so cool that they are introducing such like representation and diversity into the ANTM casting. Whether it's really handled with care, I don't think that's the case, unfortunately. But it did give Isis quite the platform to kind of continue. So Isis is a standout participant in cycle 11. Fantastic member of the cast. So one of the things I love about this cycle is the photo shoots. I think they had a killer group of girls who could deliver some insane photo shoots. One of my favorites being this photo shoot they did in water where they had to keep their nose underwater to focus on just giving like full smize. And it is so spectacular. I have the photo up here. I don't know which side I'm putting them on, but yes, the photos are up here. And I still think like to this day about some of these photos. Like the one of with Marjorie, I believe that's her name, right? Yeah, Marjorie, like the snake where she's like killer. Also, I forget the woman's name with the blonde hair, but she has like her hands like wrapped around like above her. And then Sheena, who I freaking love. And I mean, she quickly became a fan favorite in the whole franchise, crushes it. It's just like a really smart photo shoot idea, especially with how branded Smize is as a part of the ANTM vernacular. Can we also give a big shout out to Anna Lee? She was this kind of like all American girl that like really was venturing into like trying to venture into the high fashion kind of setup. And she delivers kind of like 50-50. I feel like sometimes it's out of the park and then sometimes it's a little catalog, which was I think her general critiques. But this shoot they did on a boat where she's like hanging off the sails, absolutely loved. And then Marjorie just crushes it in everything she does. I feel like there was like a pocket of time in ANTM where quirky girl was Tyra's favorite. Later we'll get to Anne, who is like the ultimate quirky girl. Like she just loved the weird quirky girl who delivered just like this like spooky ooky, oh, I'm so weird. And Marjorie fell right into that. Our top two in this season, we had Samantha and we had McKee. Now McKee, we kind of knew from the jump was going to like run away with this one, I think, because she just was first photo on everything she did. Just a very high fashion look. And then Sam had this incredibly like, how do I describe it? There's a little Linda Evangelista if she was like catalog. I always think about Sam in this, I don't know what it was for, but it looks like a Calvin Klein ad and it's spectacular. I don't know what these two girls are doing today, but I think this is one of our stronger top twos. All in all, though, I have to say the season where it misses for me, I find that the way they handled the ISIS casting was really tough. I don't think it was taken with a lot of care. And I also don't love our villain, who her name was Alina. She wasn't like our villain, but like her and Marjorie were always kind of like getting into it and like, I don't know. And then McKee also like, she's a killer model, but she kind of brought nothing to the table in forms of like a reality star. And so she just kind of sat in the corner, didn't say anything, and then just get on set and like slay a photo shoot. But I don't love all of the characters in this season as much as I love other cycles. They seem like great people in real life, just within the confines of the show. So I'm going to rate cycle 11 on a B. A B, which I think is fair. They're in good company with Bs. The Bs are in good company. Up next, we have cycle number 12. Now, y'all, cycle 12 is a banger, and we get to meet, as someone said in the comments of part 1, the Susan Lucci of the America's Next Top Model universe. And that truly is one Allison Harvard. Talk about quirky girls. Allison is the president of the Quirky Girl Club because she borders on like glam model too, which is like the thing that makes her so absolutely just so incredibly special. I love this cycle a lot. I think that we have some absolute superstars and some killer photo shoots. Another person that I loved so much was Amina. Absolutely stunning. I think one of our most stunning models that we've had in the ANTM universe. Loved her. Let's go through some of these photo shoots though. So let's start with this paint one. So they had like paint splattered across their face. I mean, this is the moment when I think everyone was like, who is this Allison girl? And why is she just the best to ever do it? This photo of her just like looking doe-eyed into the camera. I mean, she's insane. She looks one of a kind. She looks like otherworldly. I really, really, really love this girl. Love her. So then we have this girl, Celia. Celia kind of reminds me of Amanda from Cycle 3 and the way that she's like a mom. She's like, has kind of more mature energy about her. And she's like, and I'm here to be a model and I will be a model. And it's like these younger girls who are just a little more chill and like meh on modeling, kill it. And she's always trying to kill it like them and can never quite get there. That is like an often trope in these shows, like the seasoned model that can't quite land it on camera for America's Next Top Model. It's kind of, I feel bad for those girls. It does make for good TV though, and she's always kind of fighting to get her place within this group. And the only like couple notches I give it, one more photo shoot that we should talk about in regards to Allison is this photo where they had to all be like birds. They were in Brazil, and so that was their overseas spot. They had to be like birds in the forest of Brazil, like in different spots, and Allison was in this like bird's nest essentially, and she's like turned around and she's like literally I think about this photo. I think about this photo. That's how fucking killer it is. It is crazy to me she didn't win. And I love Tiana. She was the winner of the season. And then I think where Tiana kind of pushes forward, she just has that cover girl like star quality. Her cover girl photo shoot is killer and her commercial for that is killer. And that's where Allison doesn't always like compete in that way. But I also really did not like this finale runway. They're like covered in like black like oil, like gasoline. And they're like crawling through the ground in gasoline. It's weird. It doesn't work. Tyra, I don't know what you were doing here. The cast in this season kills it. The photo shoots are killer. We didn't even talk about Faux. Faux is beautiful too. I mean, this cast really kills it. I just think we lose steam at the end when they go to Brazil. I think that finale doesn't nail it. And I think in general, we all really wanted Allison to win. I love Tiana. I think Tiana deserved to win. But Amina and Allison, to me, kind of just work better in the ANTM universe as winners. But in the end, Allison goes on to be on All Stars. So we do get to see more of her. But there's something that just leaves it a little lacking there at the back end of the season. So I'm going to go ahead and give cycle number 12, once again, a banger season, just misses the mark right there at the finish line. For me, cycle 12 falls into an A category. Absolutely rewatchable, not quite God tier, but pretty freaking fantastic. Okay, moving on to cycle number 13. Now, y'all, I'm going to be harsh on this one. And I think we all can kind of come together as a community. Cycle 13, Tyra tried something new. And we did the short girl season. Now, that is not my issue with this season. In general, I just think the short girls should have just been on all the seasons. I don't know why we have to like only do a cast of short girls to like justify that short is okay. And also like one of the big issues here is that like it seems like they went to the short season and then somehow also the budget for the show got smaller. So for their overseas trip, they go to Hawaii. And now if I was in the mix with these girls and I had gotten to top 5 or top 6, whatever, and they were like, okay, we are going to Hawaii, I'd be like, what the? Like, I thought I was going to get to go to like Vietnam, like to the Philippines, to Mallorca. We're going to Hawaii, where I can like go down to the Four Seasons Hotel and have a cheeseburger. No, that's not why I'm here. I want to go somewhere insanely remote, somewhere tropical, somewhere international, somewhere to make me feel fierce. I'm on TV. I looked up something on Reddit, and someone said on Reddit that their theory was that some of the girls that they wanted in the short girl cast did not have passports, which I'm like kind of like, okay, like you needed them that bad. Also, once again, why can't you just put short girls on all the seasons? Kate Moss was a supermodel, or is a supermodel, and she stood next to the tall ones. Like I just don't really understand why we needed to segregate short people. It's so weird to me, y'all. I find it so bizarre. And we had our second instance of. Now, I bleeped that the last time, and some of y'all were like, what is he talking about? I think you can figure out what I'm talking about. They do something in a photo shoot that is so inappropriate. I find it so insane that we arrived here and we're what is it, 10 years later? No, not 10 years later, like 6 years later after cycle 4, we're doing this again. So y'all, for production reasons, this cycle has dropped a lot. However, I do want to give a big shout out to Nicole and Laura because they're a killer top 2. I think Laura is that she's like a Kaylin where it's like from the South, never thought that she could have been a model, and then all of a sudden she is an absolute supermodel once that like camera turns on and she crushes it. And Nicole, I think generally people regard Nicole as one of the great like high fashion looking winners. I don't know about her, after post ANTM life as a model, but she was a true superstar in front of the camera. So we definitely have to shout those girls out. Oh, and then lastly, I believe her name was Erin. Let me pull up some of her photos. Also we should highlight some of the other photos because in general, we can highlight the photos that aren't the one that I don't want to talk about. So Erin had this like very kind of like downturned lip, like grumpy but ferocious look about her. I love that photo of her. But then, I mean, this Nicole photo really is the one that transcends all photos. It's so high fashion. And Laura too. Laura, love her. Love her, love her. They did do one photo shoot. Where is it? I don't know if I pulled the photo on my own notes, but they did do one where they were like laying in front of a mirror that I really liked. They were doing things to make them look longer because they're short, remember? So yeah, all of those negative critiques to be said, I still think there's a little redeeming qualities here and there with, the quality of this top 2. Some of these photo shoots do bring it. But unfortunately, because of that really problematic photo shoot and the budget somehow feeling condensed, I am going to have to put cycle 13 on a C. Sorry, Tyra. Sorry. They can't all be winners. Okay, moving on to cycle number 14. Now, cycle 14 is 2010, and this season is a season that I love. This season and the next season for me was like this bizarre like resurgence. Honestly, actually, sorry, the cycle 14 through 16 is this like bizarre resurgence of old ANTM. I don't know what the bottle formula was here. Like, I don't know what shifted, but all of a sudden we are operating on the absolute like highest level of photo shoot budgets. We now have legend of the fashion industry, Andre Leon Talley, in the mix. And it's just, the cast is killer. The photos are killer. There's drama. It really is one of the great seasons of ANTM that I think gets slept on because it's so late in the game. So I want to go through some of these photo shoots in cycle number 14. So we had this absolutely like Brooke Shields-esque supermodel. Her name is Raina in the mix. And she had this like heavy brow, like this beautiful brown hair. She really absolutely killer. She ended up getting runner up. I always think about the photo of her like in the rain with the sweeping like hair, and she's like, love her. Also, we got to shout out our winner, Krista White. I think for me, I would say top 3 winners. She has it. She just gets it. Like, this is a supermodel. Like, I think my top 3 winners, and you know what? I might do a winner ranking. So this is a little bit of a spoiler, but Chris is definitely in that top 3, solidified. I mean, this photo of her on like the hill with like the sheep, it is because they go to New Zealand, I believe. Some New Zealand or Australia, somewhere down under. And I mean, it is. I think about this photo. Like some of these photos, let's normalize hanging these photos in our homes. Hanging these photos in our homes. Also, they did this like high fashion photo shoot. I don't know what the theme of this one was, but like they're like essentially just hanging out outside around trees. That's such a bad art direction. My vision is trees, high fashion, hanging out. It's kind of what this was though. And she's like leaning over and she's like, love it. Krista, if you ever find this, I love you. Also another standout moment with Raina is they did this like this hair show shoot where everything they wore was hair. Like they wore a big hair show wig and then all of their outfits were just hair. And Raina has this like killer kind of like jumping, walking photo shoot. Also, there are some other standouts in this gaggle of girls that we got to talk about. The one, the only, Angelique. Angelique is a reality TV great that got blacklisted, unfortunately, and I'm ready to bring back. I'm ready to bring back in the mix. Now, I don't know her lore if outside of what happened on the show. If something else crazy happened, please let me know and I will redact that statement. But I'm sorry, seeing Andre Leon Talley have a conversation with Angelique just was every week I was on the edge of my seat. Like, what's going to happen? It's just, they're just from absolute different places in this planet and somehow connected. Like, he loved her. And I loved her. And she goes on to be on All Stars. And she did, spoiler alert, win All Stars. But they had to retract her win because now there's some controversy here about why. They claimed within the confines of the show that she had spoken about the show after they filmed. And so they had to come back and refilm the finale. That was like to save face for the real reason, which allegedly was that she worked as an escort and they didn't want to affiliate themselves with that line of work. And that feels incredibly problematic to me. Sex work is work. People need to make money to feed their families and to live life. I don't see why this is a reason for disqualification, but we can get more into that when we hit our All-Star season. Also, we have Alasia, who I loved her. Fabulous television. Fabulous TV. And I don't know what happened to her. Like, I want to know more about where she's at because I thought she was such a killer casting choice for them. She's stunning, makes fabulous TV, and once again really had that energy with Andre Leon Talley. And I love him. God rest his soul. He has passed. I'm only laughing because if you haven't watched part 1, I claim people had passed that have not. He has passed. And I just really loved her. Loved her. I want her. I want more. I want more of these girls in general back on our screens. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me why we don't have ANTM in the mix with like Traitors and House of Villains and things like that. I would love it. Would love it. So tons of great stuff here in Cycle 14. I think you probably all kind of see where this is headed. I am rating Cycle 14 on that S tier. This one really brings it for me with character, with photo shoots, with drama. I love these girls and I want these girls in the mix more. Okay? Okay, moving on to cycle number 15. Now, cycle 15 was officially titled the high fashion season. Cycle 14 kind of was already that, but like cycle 15, the theme was high fashion. Everything was going to be high fashion. Like very minimal, like work within like catalog stuff. It was like high fashion. And the prize for the season for the winner was a spread in Vogue Italia, which to me, that is, I mean, I guess a CoverGirl contract is probably more monetary, but like a spread in Vogue Italia, just to have that on your resume is a banger. I mean, it's killer. So I love Cycle 15 deeply. And Cycle 15 came to me when I had stopped watching ANTM live. And then in college, I was like, I missed this show. I need to get caught back up again. And I watched Cycle 14, 15, and 16, like back to back in 2011, I guess. Like, I was like, I'm going to buy all these seasons and just watch them because, like, also back in the day, kids, you had to buy on iTunes because nothing was streaming. So I went and bought these and I was like, I want to see what my girls are up to. And once again, bangers, these 3 seasons back to back. So Cycle 15 has kind of like our peak quirky girl. Her name is Anne Ward. Now, Anne, every time they talk about Anne, I don't really have a good descriptor for how to describe her, but every time they talk about her, they always show this photo. And when I would watch, I've seen this cycle quite a few times. I mean, in college we had a drinking game where it was like drink every time they show Anne with a bacon sandwich because every time Anne's like, it's just hard for me to be outgoing. I just didn't grow up like that. They always pan over and it's Anne being like, and I'm like, Anne, no, not Anne and the bacon sandwich again, Anne. And she's like, you know what? What is the 2010 angsty urge to sit on a stool like this and just be like, we all did it. There's something like at home, but you only do it when you go home. You only do it when you go to your family's home. You crawl up on a stool and you're just like, it cracks me the F up. That photo of Anne just sitting on that stool, drink every time you see Anne and the bacon sandwich. Every time. You won't make it past episode 4. And Anne is, I believe, to this day, the record holder for the most best photos in a row. She received 5 best photos in a row. Like, huh? If I was one of those other girls, I would be like, and we have another instance of like an Amanda and a Celia in this season. Her name is Chelsea, and she's not like the way that Amanda and Celia are older, but she has that energy of like, model. I am a model. I'm here to win. And she just can't ever beat Anne. She can't beat Anne. The whole season she's trying to beat Anne and she can't beat Anne. We also get this amazing photo shoot with Joe Ben Simone, Kelly Ben Simone's husband, of course. That's how I know him. No, Joe Ben Simone gave Tyra her big break, but it's this like underwater photo shoot where they're laying like on like pebbles, but then like there's a layer of water above them in like a tank and they shoot through the water. And it brings out, I think, one of the most beautiful photos in America's Next Top Model history, and that is with Anne. She looks unbelievable. Honestly, looking at this photo, I'm like, I need to go back and watch this again. I need to go back and watch this cycle again. It is so spectacular and so comforting to me. Also, Anne has this killer photo of her in the boxing ring. Like, what the fuck is this? This is on America's Next Top Model. Whenever you tell me that the show, whenever a critic, which everyone's a critic these days, whenever a critic comes on and is like, it's just a show, it's just all fake reality TV, I'm like, no, there are girls on these shows that are so immensely talented at modeling, and being one of them. Also, someone I want to revisit back in Cycle 14 that I realized we didn't give enough energy to was Alexandria. She was, once again, one of our quote unquote like plus size models, which she was not plus size. I think one of our absolute most gorgeous women to come through the cycle. Alexandria, shout out to you. I'm sorry I did not give you a shout out earlier when we were in Cycle 14. But back to Cycle 15. Let's go through some of this other cast. Back to Cycle 15. Oh, also someone else on this season that I absolutely love was Chris. I believe she came into the auditions with her sister, either this cycle or the cycle before, but you wanted her on screen all the time because she just was an absolute delight. Also, I don't know if you remember Casey, who had the like insane bone structure. She has a killer photo underwater. She never could quite like get the high fashion of it all, but absolutely crushed it. There's a lot of girls in this mix that I really, really, truly enjoyed. Oh, Chris's sister was Tara. Tara, I believe, was in like the first episode, but then she leaves right at the top, sadly. Or no, sorry, she gets cut after the makeovers, it says. This is a rewatchable season. This is a season that I might revisit when I press stop on the record button today. So for all those reasons, I am putting cycle number 15 also at an S tier. Banger. Real banger here. Real banger. Okay, moving on to cycle number 16. Cycle 16. Now, y'all, we meet one of our most insane makeover moments in cycle 16. From the one now known for reality fame in a completely different realm, one Molly O'Connell, who is now a cast member on Southern Charm, was on cycle 16, a runner-up, and had the blonde makeover from hell. Photo has been put here. Like, she's constantly in every confessional just like hunched over, just like, when will they rip this hair out of my head? It's so good. Molly, I'm sorry to laugh at your torture. It made for insanely good TV. I'm so happy though. The funniest thing about all of it is the whole season, she's struggling with this makeover. And then right before the finale, they cut her and Brittany's hair completely off. And then do the finale just for one episode. It's like, Tyra's like, we're just going to do like one last makeover. I'm like, what the fuck? And then they give them both even shorter haircuts. And then Molly doesn't win. I think she's joked on Southern Charm about the fact that like, yeah, they chopped all my hair off to just send me home. But Molly, you did almost win. And some argue that you should have won. So shout out to Molly. She's a real one. And she's also such a riot on Southern Charm. If you haven't seen her, she like plays the tuba and is like just kind of like a mess. But I mean that kind of in the most positive way I could ever mean that. So this cycle, we have another kind of like bordering high fashion cycle. It's not titled that, but Andre Leon Talley's still in the mix. We have just another banger of a cast. Brittany and Molly provide some of the great kind of photos throughout this whole season. So one of our other cast members, though, once again, following in the track of this, I need to do a dissertation about the model, like the one that has experience modeling that goes into ANTM and is the villain. It's always that one. Like, right, it's always there's this character, and this season has that character, and it's Alexandria. Now, Alexandria is so I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. She is a bleep. But I mean that in a positive way. I mean, she really is such a little bleep. I do die for her though. Like, she provides such good drama. She doesn't get along with any of the girls. But then kind of gives like a mid slay on all the photo shoots. Let me pull up some of Alexandria's photo shoots. One of the photos I do really like though of hers is that like weird high fashion one where they're her and I'm forgetting this other woman's name, but they're like in kind of like the mismatched patterns and she's partnered up. I mean, I do like that one. Let's see what other ones. I'm not, to be honest with you, some of these I'm not even remembering. Like, it just doesn't pop. There's a landfill photo shoot. What is this? It just, some of her stuff some of it doesn't work. A lot of the other girls are crushing it. Hers don't work, but don't tell her I said that. That's Alexandria. She does go on because she's fabulous TV. She does go on to be in the All-Star season. And then we have, I think it's Kasia. It's Kasia. I can't remember how you say her name. She is their, once again, plus size person in the cast. Next to Alexandria as well. One of the absolute most beautiful plus size that we had in the mix. Stunning. She was gorgeous. I love in this, and one of the photo shoots that I love so much in this cycle is the B photo shoot. There's a killer photo of Molly. And I mean, this was kind of like, I think Molly's big standout moment. What her first big standout moment was the B photo shoot. Also, I love Brittany in this. Alexandria thinks she's eating and she's mid-eating. She's always mid-eating. Mid-eating. But the season's great. They go to Morocco for their overseas moment. And yeah, we've got a lot of banger photo shoots. There's a great photo shoot with leopards that they have. I also love the like the getting ready and the makeup chair photo shoot that they do. Molly also has a killer photo in that mix. I really enjoy this season. It doesn't have the exact same level of high fashion photos that I adore in both season 14 and 15. So I'm gonna knock this season down just one peg, and I'm gonna rate it as an A for cycle number 16. So cycle 16 ranked at an A. Okay, guys, 8 more to go. We're gonna fly through some of these though, because you know why. If you're a fan, you know why. Okay, moving on to cycle number 17, All Stars. Now, on paper, great idea, right? These women raised me, raised us. And so on paper, a great idea, but I just don't know that it delivered in the right way. It seems to be, I think there was some kind of, for me, it feels that there was a production snafu here. Something about it doesn't work. I don't know what it is. Like the photo shoots feel a little bizarre. Everything's very catalog. They try to lean in on the home aspect of the show. Like they put them in this massive mansion instead of like the apartment setup and like a big mansion, and they almost kind of want to make it feel a little more like Big Brothery. I feel like we got so much footage of like the house drama in this one that felt forced. And some of your stars don't end up doing as well as you want them to when they come back in the mix. So we have Camille is back. We have here. Let me just go through this entire cast because it really is a killer cast. So our cast consists of Brittany Brower, who Brittany was from cycle number 4, Sheena, who we talked about earlier today, Isis King, Camille. Let's give a moment to talk about Camille. Camille, the walk, the absolute runway assassin. And I still regret that I didn't give her her time that she deserved in that last part 1 of this recap. So shout out to Camille. She is one of the great beauties of America's Next Top Model. We also have Brie of Granola Gate from cycle, is that 6, I believe? 5. And then we have Kayla Farrell. Kayla was in Anne's season. Then we have Bianca, who one of the breakout stars of cycle number 9. Alexandria, who we've talked about here today. Shannon Stewart, who is from cycle 1. Dominique, who I feel like we didn't give enough time to on cycle 10. Oh, I love Dominique. And I've been rewatching cycle 10 this week because of our part 1 recap. And she has that, she I think also falls into the model who wants to make it on ANTM trope, but like really, really crushes it. And then we have Laura Kirkpatrick, who, like I said in the short season, is an absolute supermodel. We have Angelique, who does get disqualified from her win. And then our runner-up is Allison, followed by winner Lisa. Now, I think also in general with Lisa, it just doesn't feel like she should win the All-Stars season of America's Next Top Model. I mean, like, this is the best of all of the casts of America's Next Top Model combined together. And Lisa wins. It just doesn't like totally make sense for me. I like Lisa as like a reality TV personality, but to me, that cast is full of some bona fide supermodels. And for some reason, I feel like we don't really get a good, solid winner out of that season. And once again, the photo shoots just flop. Before I give you my ranking of it, though, we have to spend a moment and talk about Pot Lead'em Top Model Backwards. Y'all, they did a music video challenge where every girl had like a different song but had the same chorus. Like it was like a different genre of music, but the chorus was always Pot Lead'em Top Model Backwards, which shout out to Pod Lead'em, who is an amazing ANTM podcast that a good friend of mine is the host of, JW Crump. Go follow Pod Lead'em. They do such in-depth deep dives into each one of these cycles. They are the premier ANTM podcast. So they pulled their name though from Pod Lead'em Top Model Backwards. Now, the thing about Pot Leadum Top Model Backwards is it's actually not Top Model Backwards. Top Model Backwards would be Leadum Pot. Pot Leadum is model top forwards. No, I understand that it's just they're flipping each word, but that's not how that works. But Tyra really thought she was doing something. And the music video shoot is one of the worst. It is one of the worst photo shoots, one of the worst episodes of America's Next Top Model. It's almost so bad that I'm like regretting ranking this so low because it lives in my brain forever. But I cannot wholeheartedly put this season on the same level as some of these other girls. And now that I'm seeing my ranking for this, I actually am going to adjust it lower. I had pre-ranked it. I'm moving it down another peg. I'm going to put the All-Stars season of America. This is really upsetting. I'm putting the All-Stars season of ANTM. I'm giving it a D. Are y'all going to drag me for that? Here's the thing. I don't know the lore of the ANTM community. Is this regarded as a good season? It's not. Baby, let me hold your hand. No, baby, no. Okay, we got to move on. Cycle number 18. Now here's where we go like this. I think after All Stars, Tyra was like, we got to think of themes. We need themes. It's the only way people are going to keep watching the show. So cycle number 18's theme was British invasion. Now, this is kind of the last season that I've rewatched like a couple of times. So the cycle is themed British invasion. So it's half US, half Brits. And they kind of are trying to like pin them against each other. Like, is it going to be a Brit like, what's the ratio of US to Brits? I don't care. I don't care. Let people be from wherever they are. I just don't see why it matters. I don't know. I don't love it. And this does end up being Mr. J's final season as well, because I think this is kind of the end of what we know as America's Next Top Model, to be completely honest with you. I just don't really know what there is to say about this season. And I thought it was like a weird kind of soft reboot with a different cast of characters. And so for all of these reasons, I am going to put cycle number 18 at a D as well. Putting cycle 18 at a D. Sorry, girls. So cycle number 19, essentially this season all hinged on social media. So they were like, it was a college theme, but then also you got to vote on the photo shoots before the season aired. So on Facebook, they dropped albums of like everyone took a photo all the way till the end. So literally people that had gotten eliminated stayed and took photos for every single photo. And you ranked your favorite photos, and whoever had the most got like points, and it was like a point system. I'm even getting confused explaining it to you. The logistics here are batshit crazy. And we also had, we also kind of did clean sweep on the cast of judges. Kelly Catrone and Rob Evans stayed, but then they brought in Brian Boy, who's like a social media guy. And then they brought in someone to replace Mr. J. Oh, and Johnny Wujek came in as the replacement for Mr. J, who I actually really like Johnny Wujek, but like it all felt off. It just felt off. Our winner, Laura James, is just kind of like a basic white girl. Shout out, Laura. None of this works. I'm not going to spend too much energy here talking about photo shoots and stuff. All I remember is that photo shoot of them as like taxidermy, where they're like, it's a chop. I'm ranking cycle 19 on an E. Sorry, cycle 19. Moving on to cycle number 20, guys and girls. So once again, this was another big shift. They're just like trying new things because nothing seems to be sticking. Cycle 20, we have Kelly Catrone, Rob Evans are still in the group, but then we also have Johnny Wujek still in the group. But the big twist here is that they now have women and men competing. Now, I actually like the combo of men and women. It brought some like fun hookups and like drama in the house. But all in all, we just don't have a lot of really good modeling content that comes out of this. And also, Tyra sticks with giving these men some insane makeovers. Insane makeovers. So, like, I think this is the season where they give the guy I forget his name, the Jesus look. Crazy. And then the winner of this season is Jordan Miller, who did kind of just win everything. It just kind of, none of it kind of made, it just, I feel like with the introduction of boys, they almost should have just done an all boy season first. So we got a boy winner right out of the bat. Something about it doesn't really work because it's like we brought boys on and then we have the girl that's kind of just looks like all the other girls win. We do have a one standout performance from the season, and that is Corey Wade. Corey is like a star that I've seen like out in the universe after this, modeling and doing other things. I don't know Corey's pronouns, but Corey is in the queer spectrum, and it was just really fun to see a queer man in the mix on ANTM. Shout out to Corey. He is he's great. And they also kind of like let him push the norms on gender in this season, which I really like. So shout out to Corey. We love you for that. But I'm rating Cycle 20 at a level D. I'm going to give it a little higher than 19 just because like they're trying new things. I don't know that it worked, but a D. Okay, moving on to cycle number 21. Cycle 21 is another boys and girls season. We have 3 of them, so bear with me. 21, we still have our same judges, and photo shoots just kind of are okay again. But what I will say is this season felt more like real world to me. Like it felt like a little bit more of a house drama situation where in cycle 20 that doesn't really work. Cycle 21 it does work because we also have a killer cast of models that have gone on to be like bona fide superstars. Obviously, the big breakout star from the season is Winnie Harlow. Winnie Harlow was on America's Next Top Model. That was her breakout moment. Winnie goes on to be truly one of the greatest superstars in the modeling industry that we have. Shout out to Winnie. We also have one of the most insane makeovers in America's Next Top Model history with Denzel. Denzel Wells gets a prosthetic beard put on his face. He gets a prosthetic beard applied to his face. It is diabolical. It is diabolical. Honestly, because of the prosthetic beard, I'm ranking this one decently high. We also have a wonderful winner who I actually really do like, Keith Carlos, who had a very like kind of underdog storyline, getting from the bottom in the beginning all the way to the top. I love to see that. And we also have Will, who gets runner up, who is also on the queer spectrum. I love Will. I've engaged with him online a little bit. I would love to have Will here on the show, who's gone on to be on other reality shows. So we have a good cast of characters here. Once again, though, I just don't know that the photo shoots line up with the actual like mission of ANTM. This one leans a lot on house drama, but it's decently enjoyable. So I'm going to rank this one a letter C. Moving on to cycle number 22. 22, I am a 22 defender. I'm a 22 defender, I have to say. I thought I really loved the addition of Ashley Graham into the judging panel. I also love Niall DeMarco. Niall is such an absolute superstar, and I just think that he's one of our great winners. And killer on camera, killer storyline, and just like a fantastic presence like on reality TV and what he means for reality TV. I really love him. And I think this season, it's the last boys and girls season, but I do think they somehow started to kind of find a footing when it came to photo shoots. The photo shoots started to make a little bit more sense. The cast made more sense. This season for me works. Effectively operates on ANTM levels. I am going to rank it on a letter B. Really like cycle 22. Worth a revisit if you're going to rewatch the boys and girls cycles. So we're dealing with our last 2 cycles, 23 and cycle 24. It feels like I'm just saying reboot. They keep trying to reboot it every single cycle after that All-Star season. I think they've literally been drowning, trying to be like, how do we get out of this? Cycle 23, Tyra is out, La Roche is in, and Rita Ora is our host. I'll say that one more time. Rita Ora is our host.
What the hell we gonna do now?
Oh, also, I didn't mention Drew Elliott in Cycle 23. He comes in as well, and I actually do really like him. But y'all, it moves to VH1. The show looks completely different. The only thing that works in this is La Roche. The only thing. And I don't know what it is, but these like last couple seasons, they just don't have the stars and the cast that make the show work and operate like it did in the first, let's say 15, 16 cycles. I don't know what changed, if it was like marketability, if it was like pre-existing models. Like I find that in general, we've escaped looking for just like people off the street for our reality shows, and we're looking for influencers. We're looking for people with presence in the internet space, like in media. I like people like Angelique, who are just like from Buffalo, New York, and decided to audition for America's Next Top Model and become something. I don't know. These casts don't work for me. Our winner here is India Gantz. India's great. I remember India, and she's a beautiful model still to this day. But it's just like, what are we doing here? So cycle number 23, I am going to put on an E. It just doesn't work. Tyra is the show. If we don't have Tyra, what do we have? La Roche saves this season. And then lastly, cycle 24. Cycle 24, we have the return of Tyra with Drew Elliott, La Roche, and Ashley Graham still in the mix. And I think we have a decent season here, but the show has just lost its sparkle. The big twist here is that they are casting ages, all ages. So they have some women who are older mixed with some younger women. I do believe that this brings out like some really interesting conversations in the modeling world. And I think that did have something going for it. But in general, this season, once again, just is a miss. I do think we have a star out of a winner. Our winner is Kyla Coleman. Kyla is absolutely gorgeous and a much deserved winner. But for me, the cycle just doesn't hit. It doesn't work. The most interesting part of it is getting kind of the insight into having older women mixed in with our younger women. They needed to find their footing, though. I think there's a common theme here. When these shows move to VH1, something shifts. Network changes, something shifts, and not always a great way. Drag Race has had these bumps where it moves from logo to VH1, VH1 to MTV, and something's changed about it. And it kind of takes a second to really figure out the formula to keep it right. This, unfortunately, was the last season of America's Next Top Model, so they never really got a chance to make it right. Cycle 24, I'm going to put at a D. Y'all, we did it. That was a lot. That was a lot to go through all in one. I probably should have split it up cycles 1 through 12 and then 13 through 24, but I didn't want to lose some of the really good cycles just in part 1. Thank you guys for being here. I want to clarify, I did probably get some things wrong. So please comment again. I'm not perfect. I'm just a mere gay trying to talk about modeling, a subject I know nothing about. But before I let you guys go, let's go through our full ranking of all of them. Okay, from the top. Cycle number 1. Sorry. We're going to go through our full ranking from our S tier and just go down that way. So our S tier, my opinion, once again, my opinion, S tier. We have cycle 4, 6, 8, 14, and 15. Clap it out for those girls. Our A tier, cycle 3, 7, 10, 12, 16. Clap it out for those girls. On our B tier, we have cycle 1, 2, 5, 11, and 22. Clap it out for those girls. On our C tier, we have cycle 9. I know y'all are mad at me about it. Cycle 13, cycle 18, and cycle 21. Our D tier, sadly, is cycle 17, cycle 20, and cycle 24. And then our E tier, do not watch these seasons. This is cycle 19 and 23. I will always think about this photo when I think about the darkest times of America's Next Top Model. Thank you so much for being here. We've had so many hits on the channel after doing these ANTM videos. Let me know what kind of video you would like to see next. I'm loving these tier rankings, especially when they create discourse like the discourse we're having. It's kind of scary, but I like it. Follow me at the Tom Hamlet on Instagram. You can follow the YouTube channel at youtube.com/dumpsterdivepod. And I will be back with more content here on the channel. And make sure to subscribe to the podcast for in-depth recaps on all the reality TV you love. And we will be back next week with a recap of the America's Next Top Model documentary. Bye, y'all.